once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. The attendees and our partners from Cyprus and other parts of the world. Uh, First things first, we thank you for your time for joining us and responding to our mails and our invites and our requests. We are going to, give a takeaway that you will appreciate at the end of this session. Samadhan with eKnowtion presents to you this webinar, which is basically data-driven manufacturing. When we talk about reports, business central insights, that is going to transform the way you do your production. So just a very quick, context is that, we talk about ERP and we talk about solutions, handling our operations and so on, data that goes into the system. But what happens to that data, right? So a raw data is like crude oil, not really useful that much, not that valuable. But when you process that data and when you use that data to bring in insights and analysis and reports, that is when they become really powerful, right? That is the pursuit. And that is exactly what eKnowtion is doing. That is what Samadhan is doing. And we have come together to help you understand, as far as the advanced reporting tools are concerned, one of which is Power BI platforms, which comes from Microsoft. And eKnowtion particularly has done wonderful thing with it. And, we thought that it would be quite a good experience for you to understand what is Power BI. I'm sure a lot of you already know about it, but hearing from the experts from the horse's mouth directly makes a lot of difference. So here we are with this webinar. Thank you once again for joining us. Can we move ahead?
Sure thing. Thanks, Kumar.
Yes. So Michael, over to you. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, bit of housekeeping, everyone. Please feel free to put any questions you have into the chat window during the webinar. We will address them during the Q&A session for sure, but also we might have a chance to kind of come back to you and answer you while we're doing this session. The webinar is obviously being recorded, as we've mentioned a few times now. So just need to let you know that, but it will be shared with you afterwards in the next couple of days. If you have any clarifications or additional questions, please drop a line or an email, to us at eKnowtion or at Samadhan India. Great, thank you. Moving ahead. So the agenda today, so we're just doing the introduction, obviously, and we're going to just give a little bit more detail in terms of like who we are, a bit of background explanation on the company. We will then give a bit more of kind of an overview of what the challenges that we're trying to address today. Why can't people get the insights they need out the box with Business Central? What are the skill sets and things that you really need to be able to do this yourself? And then we can also then move on to a demo that Dayan's going to give today, really on the Business Central Insights platform, which is going to show you how easy it is to do this yourself with a little bit of help, but very little in the grand scheme of things. We've got a special offer of a free consultation that we'll mention after that, really, where we can give you some free support to get going on this really, really quickly yourself. In a very short period of time, we can have you set up, running, and getting all these insights yourself. Then there will be a brief section on just Samadhan India and their business and what they specialize in, just so you know, and you can then contact them if you want further support for any of the services they provide. And then finally, we'll move on to a Q&A where we can just answer any of the questions you have. Please don't be shy. Drop anything you're not sure about in the chat, and we will deal with it at the end of the call for sure. Okay, so moving on swiftly, we have a lot of very experienced people on this call. I'm not going to go into detailed introductions on everyone, but we've got representatives here from eKnowtion and Samadhan India. But safe to say, between us, we have many decades of experience in analytics, which is more my background from Snowflake, but also in ERP systems, Microsoft services, and just data analytics in general. So lots of experience here. I'm sure that one of us will be able to help answer any questions you have and support you in your needs for your business. So just a bit of an explanation about eKnowtion, just so it's clear, because we've got this Business Central Insights, we've got eKnowtion. So just to explain the linkages between it all. So eKnowtion have been a Microsoft consultancy firm for over 15 years, many experience in dealing with, in particular, BI projects and enterprise resource planning. Dayan, who's on the call, is the CEO of and founder of eKnowtion. So him in particular has worked in this space for many years. And really experts in designing, business intelligence analytics solutions for ERP platforms, but also for the Microsoft stack in general. But in particular, Dayan worked with Business Central for a long time, and built out a solution specifically for them. And this is called the Business Central Insights app, or apps. Just to explain that linkage, so it's eKnowtion, the company, has built the Business Central Insights apps. And these apps are 11 ready to go Power BI apps with over 400 built-in reports, which will just give you immediate insights, visibility into your business. With, again, so, you need a little bit of help. You can have these things set up in like 15 minutes to an hour. But to get going and get valuable insights from your data is very easy. eKnowtion is now part of the Ares Global Software Group, which is actually the business that I actually work for. And we are a leading software group, ex-Snowflake people. Snowflake, for those you don't know, is one of the largest data analytics companies in the world, worth over, I think, 50 billion, one of the fastest growing companies of all time. So really exciting. What are we doing? We're bringing our knowledge and expertise within that experience at Snowflake and at other firms, and bringing that to bear within just general software, but in particular, we're helping to grow the Business Central Insights product, make it a better product for you, and provide a better service to you. So that's a bit of background on who we are. And why are we here today? Well, look, we are here about manufacturing primarily, but I just want to add that we are, what we're covering today could be equally valid for other business sectors as well. But what we particularly saw at Snowflake, and I know Dayan has seen it himself in his many years in business, is that more and more companies are becoming data-driven. And what does that really mean? Well, look, people now, instead of just making decisions on instinct or on their gut, are making decisions based on data. And really, in the past, it could take quite a lot of time to get that access to that data. Maybe you didn't have a complete view of your business. You couldn't get access to all that data in near real time. And now more and more companies can do that, right? It's easier than ever to do that. And so big companies and small now have access to data-driven insights with a little bit of help, but really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. And that's just going to allow you to make real decisions about your business, to grow revenue, to reduce costs, and to remove risks from your business. So in particular, on today's session, we're going to cover how Power BI can make manufacturing data easy to interpret. We're going to show you how you get a unified view of your production processes to make faster, better decisions. And actually, we could even show you how to get a unified view of multiple companies that you might have, or multiple environments within Business Central. And we're going to show you some certain reports, certain charts, Gantt charts, ABC classifications, and so on. We're going to show you how to customize those reports, which is really important. We're going to show you how even non-technical people could do a lot of this. You might need some technical support, in which case you could then reach out to Samadhan for absolutely sure. And then we're going to show you how you can even analyze data easily in Excel, probably much easier than you're already doing it today. Really quick, really fast. So those are some of the things that we're going to cover. And again, this is focused on manufacturing, but really this could cover many other aspects of your business, sales, and services and so on as well. Moving quickly on. Right, Alesh.
Well, typically what you have, what happens if actually the reporting requirements actually don't fill don't actually meet actually the reporting that is available in the standard software doesn't meet your requirements. So you will have this kind of limited standard reporting. This means that you will combine different reports. You will have some kind of fragmented insights, and it will be really difficult to coordinate your people, and also it will be difficult to understand actually the whole picture and to make kind of efficient decisions. And all this typically then results that you spend more money, and especially this is critical for, let's say, high-skilled resources that perhaps have to provide some additional details, have to do additional analysis and this kind of things on a repetitive basis. And now perhaps we just jump to a next slide. What happens if this kind of, let's say, standard reporting is not really helping you out and you want to do something more. You will have basically two bridges to cross. First, you will need to understand where your data is and how to extract it. And then you will need to cross the other bridge, which means that you will have to visualize it in a meaningful way. So you will basically need 2 or even 3 sets of skills. First, in-depth understanding of Business Central, preferably for the areas that are relevant for your reporting. And if we're talking about manufacturing, there are not really a lot of people that really understand in depth and have a lot of experience with this data. And then you will need Power BI skills. And finally, you will need some kind of understanding of your processes. So, it's a set of skills and knowledge and expertise and experience. It's typically, you don't find this in one person. So you need to combine multiple people. And for BC clients, it's really typically hard to gather and maintain all these kind of skills. And even if you get people that know something about it, then they have to work together. So you need to make a team out of them. And all this takes time and money, and the outcome might not be so straightforward. And finally, even if you get reports which actually help you, so which fit to your requirements, you will need to maintain them on a long term. So this adds some additional costs and creates some dependencies. And this is where actually Business Central Insights can do better. So we just jump to another slide. Because why? How we can help? I mean, we have like more than 400 field-proven reports and visuals, and they're based on real-life scenarios of more than 150 customers in various industries, and we have quite a lot of experience in manufacturing. What we did was actually we integrated flexible cube analytics that allow you to customize the layout of your data by dynamically selecting rows or columns. So basically, you can slice and dice how you want it. And then with user roles support and advanced low-level security, you can apply different security rules for each user within the single report and data set. So you can really, adapt these visuals to particular users that you have. And then there is no code support for your extensions and customizations. And of course, we're able to support multiple companies. And what we also do is we allow you to report across legacy data from your discontinued ERP systems like Great Plains, QuickBooks, or whatever, so that we can also support, let's say, your migration to the new software, so your migration to Business Central, and allow you still to have some kind of comprehensive year-over-year comparisons and trend analysis. And now what I would suggest, because I can talk now for ages, but I think it would make much more sense that we just do a deep dive. And now Dejan will present you actually Business Central Insights, and then we'll take it from there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Aleš. So let me know if you can see my screen properly. Yeah. Excellent. So I'll start my presentation with basically with inventory reports. And I'll present some of the inventory reports that relate to manufacturing. And specifically, those would be inventory aging, out of stock days, days of inventory consumption. So this will be my first introduction, basically, and then from there we will jump to manufacturing insights app. We'll review other manufacturing reports here. Now the time is limited. Probably I might spend 20 minutes on this. Hopefully it will not be too long, but as you can see, there's a lot of content in our apps. There'll be probably each app will have over 50 reports or more. So for more deep dive session, I would like to immediately invite you to book a call with us. And basically you do that by visiting businesscentralinsights.com. This is our website, and simply book a call and we will do a deep dive session about any of the apps and we'll answer any of the questions you might have. So another disclaimer I have is that basically with some reports that I'll show in the inventory were not published yet. So we plan to publish this version of the app in February. And we will include some of the reports that we're showcasing now. We're publishing new versions every month on average, or every 2 months. And basically, we're adding features based on customer feedback. So we're always listening to our customers, and they can submit ideas or suggestions for new features, and we will simply include them in the next version free of charge. So I'll start with the example of inventory aging. And this was a report that basically I had a call on Monday with one of our customers, and they suggested to include this report, inventory aging, in our app. So this was the Parveen from ATE Group. Maybe he's also on the call. So I would like to thank him for this idea suggestion. And what is this report about? It's quite straightforward, but really, really useful for any basically any company that has inventory and would like to know how old their inventory is. So we have here a list of items, item categories and items, if I drill down further. And for each item, I can see different aging buckets. And I can see what is the value of this item that is old 8 to 30 days. And I can check other items as well. Now, I can filter this report to show only consumption items, right? So those that are used for production. So then I can see here my consumption items, how old the inventory is, basically. Now, we can view this by location, by item, category by item, but maybe you have some kind of dimensions in your, and you want to basically analyze it by area or by industry or by department who's responsible for certain inventory, right? And you can see it here by department, what's the inventory aging. Now, for each department, you can say, I want to see the items that belong to this department. You can just simply drill down, and here you can see for each item what the inventory aging is, including the quantity. Right, so that's the first one that can quickly, you can quickly use this report to optimize your inventory and look at the items, for example, that are older than 1 year or older than a certain number of days. Now, another variation of the inventory aging would be to calculate aging based on certain entry type, right? So the most common way would be to have a report that will show aging since last sale, for example. And here you would see how many days passed since this item was sold last time. And with this report, you can say, okay, here are the items that haven't been sold over a year, and then you can review those items and do something with them, right? And the same way you can change this and say, I want to see items that haven't been produced for a long time, or they haven't been purchased for a long time, and you will see the aging based on the entry type. So that's another variation of inventory aging. Next one I'd like to show is out of stock days. So out of stock days simply means how many days in the selected time period were certain items out of stock. Out of stock means the inventory was 0, right? So we will look at any of the items. I click on the item, and this says that 42 days in this time period, this item was out of stock. And here in the chart, I can see when exactly this was, right? Then we have here also a metric that will show us, for example, I will filter again consumption items, right? And I can also measure when was certain item below safety stock, right? So we have a safety stock, in this case, for a housing LS 100 item, which is 10 units. And 13 days, we can see that this item was below safety stock. So you see that the gray not the gray, but the blue line is representing safety stock level, and the actual line is the actual inventory movement in this current fiscal year. And we clearly see that this is when the item was below safety stock. So I can also check this for previous periods. So I can just change to the previous fiscal year, where I can see that this item was 3 days out of stock, but 166 days below safety stock quantity, right? So we added here some additional metrics, for example, profit, sales revenue, or consumption costs. So in relation to manufacturing, you would filter, for example, to show items based on consumption quantity or cost to see the most valuable items for consumption. And then you will see there how many days they are out of stock, and what's happening with their inventory. So for example, here we can see that the inventory was simply increasing. That's also not optimal, so we also should look into this. Okay, the last one in inventory I would like to show is days of inventory consumption. And this report is basically telling us for how many days we have inventory that can be used for consumption. So basically, it's simply calculated as current inventory value, which is, let's say, if I look at the front hub item, the inventory value is 54,000, right? And daily consumption cost is 2.7 thousand. That gives us 20 days. So we have enough item in stock for 20 days of consumption, right? We can view this, of course, by different item categories, or you can see a trend over time, how the days of inventory consumption changed. But this is a nice metric to tell us, how much stock we have based on historical data and analysis, which will look at the average consumption daily cost compared to inventory value. Now, inventory value can be calculated a different way. We can compare ending inventory, that means what's today inventory value, or we could say we want to see the average between beginning and ending inventory, or the most precise way would be to look at the daily inventory value average, right? So that daily average would mean that we will calculate inventory value day by day divided by number of days. And if I change to daily average, now I see that the days of inventory consumption for the same item reduces from 20 to 11 days only, right? So you see, this was a quick overview of just 4 inventory ratio reports, which relates to manufacturing, will help you improve your basically your let's say raw materials or any items that are used for consumption. Of course, we have also projected available balance, gross requirements, schedule receipts that would also be useful for planning manufacturing, but that's something that we don't have time to go too deeply into this. Now, I'll switch to manufacturing insights and spend some time here as well, starting with the overview. So we have a nice overview of key manufacturing or production metrics. You can simply change here, say, okay, I want to see the output quantity, and we see it on the chart month by month, comparing the previous year by item, let's say by location, by production order, and so on. Maybe you want to analyze actual material cost, and you see the trend over that, or capacity time. So any of that you can select, and you would see the nice overview here. However, the reports that we usually recommend our customers to start with would be the cubes, right? We have cubes in every app. And the cubes are basically, the idea is that you can dynamically choose rows, columns, and metrics and create any kind of reports you would need. So let's say we want to analyze output quantity by item, and maybe we want to view this by location, right? So with a few clicks, we created a report item, location, output quantity. Maybe you want to analyze it by area, which is one of the dimensions, and now you see it by area, or just simply by month, right? So now you have output quantity by month by item. One of the great benefits of cubes is that you can create custom hierarchies. So for example, for each produced item, you can say, I want to see what are the production orders under this item, right? And see the output quantity for its production order. And then you can add other metrics as well. For example, maybe you want to see also actual material cost or total cost related to this output as well, right? So that gives you the full picture, let's say, of the quantity and cost. You can save this as a bookmark, and then this view, you can use it next time by simply opening a bookmark. So the idea of the cubes is that you can create hundreds of different views and show exactly the numbers in a way that you want to view for your reporting. We also have a Gantt chart, a really straightforward visual where you will have all your production orders there with the starting, ending dates and the finished percentages, just to give like a high-level overview of your production. Next one I would like to introduce is on time and in full production. Quite important metrics because you want to know which production orders were completed in full and on time, and what is the trend of that, right? Now, when it comes to in full metrics, it's quite simple. Basically, in full means that we produced everything what we planned to, the quantity is equal to output quantity. But when we talk about on time, then we can have different approaches, different calculation methods on how to calculate on-time production. And one way would be to compare finish date and due date on the production order. So if our finish date was before due date, then it's on time, right? But the other way would be to comparing ending date of production order with the last output date. So we will compare that the last output date was before the planned ending date. That means the order was on time. So I can simply switch between those calculation methods, and the report would recalculate and show me the actual statistics. So you see the gray, the dark color represents on time and in full. And then the gray, for example, would be late and in full. And then the green means actually late and incomplete. So those are the ones that we should probably look into deeper. Now, another variation of on time in full report is on time and in full routing. This one is more specific because it kind of looks at each operation on production routing, and it calculates, is this operation completed on time and in full? So it means on time before the ending date. In full means that all output has been posted. And this gives us like more detailed percentage of routing on time and in full, which means that we can then analyze data by specific work center or capacity, right? So we can say for each work center or machine center, we can get then on time in full percentages with this report. Next, I would just like to overview that we have, of course, complete cost reporting in manufacturing, where you will have a production cost, all the production cost types. So we'll look at the material capacity, subcontractors, overhead cost, manufacturing overhead, and so on. And you will be able to view it as actual, expected, or standard, including all the variances, right? So you can simply say, okay, I want to see the material cost over time and by production order by item, or I want to see my subcontractors and see their costs there, right? Then we can calculate variances, which are quite important, really useful reports. Basically, many of our customers are using them. So we could have a standard cost variance, a report that would simply compare actual to standard cost and will show you the variations for each production order, or can view it by item as well, or expected cost variance. Right. Now, like I mentioned, for all our reports are dynamic, so that you could basically change the view, how you want to view it. Right now, we see the expected cost variance by production order. Maybe you want to view it by work center, machine center, by capacity, or maybe a work center group. So you can simply select here work center and capacity. So, and this would show me actual and so an expected cost, which I need to change to capacity. Right now I'm showing material cost, that's why it's showing that. So we want to see the capacity cost by work center, machine center. I'm drilling down now to see all the details. And now I have exact deviations by each pretty much department or work center. And I can always add more details there to show the production orders under each work center. Here we go. Right. The last set of reports is related to capacity, where you can basically analyze your capacity. Not all companies are measuring this, so in our experience, maybe half of our companies would use that. But if you do, then you can have a really deep reports here about actual versus expected capacity, again, by work center, by machine center, and you'll have all the deviation percentages and variances. So you can compare your expected capacity need by production order, by item, for example, or by work center, machine center, with the actual time used in this report. We also have a date filter on every report page, where you could basically say, I want to view data by finish date and not by due date or by default when the actual transaction was posted, right? So this was a quick overview of few, let's say, inventory and manufacturing reports. There's also, you can also basically create reports yourself. So basically with the apps, you will have access to the semantic model, and semantic model will have all of the tables and metrics and basically all the calculations available there. And all you would need to do is, in the semantic model, you can click Analyze in Excel. That means that, you know, all the data will be available for you in Excel as a pivot table, and you can create new reports there, which will also refresh next time you open Excel and so on. Or you can create a report directly in Power BI in the online editor, right? By just selecting visuals and drag and drop metrics and tables and fields that you need from here. Or another option would be to do this with Power BI Desktop. Now, we don't have time today to go into more deep dive on how to do that, but if we also are organizing training sessions for our customers, and we train them how to create custom reports with Power BI or either in Excel as well. Now, next steps. Well, what if you like what you see was presented today? Now, the easier next steps would be you would simply visit our website, go to Help and Support Installation, and then install the apps and start 30-day trial, right? Now, we can do this for you as well, and we will help you with that, and we'll help you with setup, but those are really simple 5 steps. It'll take you 10 minutes, and then we can activate 30-day free trial where you can analyze all this data. Actually, you can analyze your own data. You can connect with your own Business Central, use the reports for free for 1 month, and see the value in the reports. There we go. And that concludes my part. Michael, do you want to take over?
Yes, sure. I will share my screen again and go back to the presentation. Sure thing. Hopefully that will just let me take over. Right, can everyone see my screen again? Business Central Insights demo. Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. Excellent. Moving on. So we mentioned a free offer. Now, obviously, as Dan just mentioned, you can go and set this up yourself. eKnowtion offer, a free kind of setup session, short session, 30 minutes. But actually, today we're offering a free delivery session. So like really a lot of value here. And what that will be a joint session between us and Samadhan India, really to understand properly your setup. And then to actually install the whole thing for you. And then if there's any sort of additional custom requirements, we can understand that within that session, and hopefully we can scope that out for further sessions. Really here, what we're offering is the ability to get up and running really fast. So literally within an hour, you could have everything set up. You can have the reports in predominantly and mostly in the way that you want and need them for your business, and we can have any questions ready and answered. So really you're going to be good to go. What you've seen today is really just scratching the surface of what Business Central Insights offer. Obviously, Dan's gone through a lot of the manufacturing reports and so on, but there's a whole host of things around finance and just many other aspects into the operations of your business. So again, this 1 hour, we can have it all up and running for you really, really quickly. If that's interesting, either reply to the invite that we've already sent you, contact me in the chat, and we will come back to you directly. Cool. So what's going to happen next is we're just going to get a bit of an introduction from these guys so they can just explain what their overall services are, because they do a lot more than just doing the reporting aspects of Business Central. And then we'll go into the Q&A session so we can answer any kind of quick questions that you might have on the session itself. So over to you, Kumar. Go for it.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dan, for the insight. A snapshot of what is there in store for us, and you told there are 400 plus reports. So yes, we are definitely scratching the surface with the presentation that you gave us today. Thank you so much for that. Samadhan, when I talk about Samadhan, we are a Microsoft partner in India. We have been into the IT ecosystem for more than 35 years now. For the last 22 years, we have been doing only ERPs, right? And when I talk about ERP, we are talking about industry-specific ERP. As of now, we are nearing 100 implementations across 9 different countries, including India, across 11 different solutions. Yeah, Michael, yeah. Now, when I say 11 different solutions, this is what I mean. And there are more solutions, we are working upon. But just to give you an idea about, what kind of thing we are talking about as far as ERP is concerned. We are talking about an end-to-end integrated ERP in the form of Business Central, and an extension that we have created as an organization, Samadhan, that is, which works as a tailor-made ERP solution for your kind of business. So primarily, if you see, we have created solutions over all these years for the paper and packaging industry. In paper, there could be craft paper manufacturing industry, writing paper, or tissue paper manufacturing industries. And our forte mainly lies in these 2 industries, paper and packaging. In paper, in packaging, if you see, we are into corrugated box manufacturing industry, folding carton, flexible packaging, printing, which is printing industry in itself, and then also related to the corrugated, folding carton, and flexible packaging printing. So all those taken care of in that. Along with that, film manufacturing, which is very, very closely related with the flexible packaging industry. And then rice mill, ERP is something a little bit different, but I have kept it in that slot where, it talks about basically the overall production of rice processing mills. And we have taken really good care of that. And to conclude this slide, we have forest products. Also, at times, people know it with composite packaging, and at times, there's a different nomenclature which goes by the name industrial packaging. So it works on finance and operation, basically. Flexible packaging works on finance and operation and Business Central, and the rest of the things, they are all built on Business Central. So yes, we are into 2 products, Business Central and finance and operation. Yes, Michael, next slide, please. Along with that, we have created ERPs in fashion industry. So, apparel textile, meaning garment manufacturing, then, leather industry, where we take care of the industry, which are totally integrated, from the tannery to the leather goods. And leather goods means footwear, leather garments, and accessories, all of that. Apart from these industry-specific ERPs, which belong to paper and production, paper and this packaging industry and fashion industry, we have certain add-ons. We give those add-ons to our partners. Business Central Insights, eKnowtion, as we know it, is one of those partners that we're working very closely with. They're offering Power BI. So if you feel that there's a need of Power BI, solution that you require, you go to directly to eKnowtion, you come to us, you will be getting the same kind of thing, right? Because we are working as a team, and that is how we deliver it to you. For CAD/CAM integration with your ERP system, we are partnered with a different partner, which is Elmo Solutions, offering it through AgniLink. Plant maintenance, HR and payroll, quality control, e-invoicing, which is very, very dominant now. In some part of the world, in India, it is there, Malaysia, it is there, Saudi Arabia, it is there. And it is coming in different parts of the world slowly and gradually. We are doing that also, and these are coming from the house of Samadhan. So plant maintenance, HR and payroll, quality, and the invoicing, along with digital and e-signature, which is from the FNO. We are also doing KSA invoice in FNO and Business Central. HR and payroll, plant maintenance, and Malaysia invoice, we are doing it in Business Central. Yes, Michael.
Excellent. 1 second.
Now, we are one of those partners in India, who have really a knack of exploring new industries, learning from them very quickly, implementing them, creating an extension, and giving back to you. So we are very quick learners, and we are having this hunger of learning more and more, right? And you can see it from this slide. It is very evident, the kind of versatility that is showing to you, is something that we are very proud of. So yes, we are very much there into the manufacturing industry, but that has not deterred us over all this time to, jump into a new kind of industry, learning it from them and giving it back to them. So education, fashion, leather, paper and packaging, I already showed you, commodities, then printing, mineral, even trading industry. Yes, Michael, please go on. Now, this is our customer presence globally. As we're speaking, we have our customers from the west to the east, from the US to UK to Europe, in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, the UAE, Mauritius, of course, in India, Sri Lanka, and the Southeast Asian nations. So, we have really catered from the west to the east. What it means is simply we understand the nuances, the regulations, the statutory requirements, the taxation thing, and the solution is quite capable of handling that. And we have learned that, and we are giving it to the customers in all the parts of the world. Now, as far as our presence across the world is concerned, as a solution, as a company, we have our offices at 3 places in the world. We are headquartered at Ranchi, which is in the eastern part of India. And we have another office in California and another one in Singapore. I have not written, eKnowtion here because we are already, talking about eKnowtion, and eKnowtion is sitting with us. So, I am writing my partner locations in this slide as, they are coming from. I'm sorry, Michael. I think there was a transition thing, which is, automatically transition, but that's okay. Yeah. So, we are working very closely with partners in Malta, that is in Europe, in Dubai, and in Turkey, Bulgaria, Albania, Romania, and Belgium through XCG, Ignite Excellence, and Intelligence System. Our idea is to, be close to the customer. That's okay, Michael. You can stay here. Be close to the customer, and also be reachable, and trying to create that ecosystem, enlarge that ecosystem in the same pursuit. We have partnered with eKnowtion as well, so that customer feels that we are closer to them wherever they are across the world. Now, a lot of people ask us why work with Samadhan as a partner. So apart from the reasons that I have already given you, we are quite good at making an ERP, fit for you, for your requirements. But apart from that, there are few other reasons why we say, we are your preferred partner, and we are a partner that works with you as a consultant, not in the long run, short run, but also in the long run. So if I simply give you 5 reasons, apart from other reasons, they are, number one is comprehensive implementation services. So over all these years, we have learned, end-to-end implementation services is something that we are very good at. We adopt methodologies which are, time proven, and they are working just fine for our customers. And we don't see any reason, of course, they are flexible and we learn, but, they have been really, really fruitful over all this time. Now, when we work with you, we work as a partner which gives you an ERP, but we are not sticking to that role only. When we work with you, we work as a team with you. And we also work with you to help you understand your own business processes in a way that we see and we bring with our experience and, overall optimize it for you, right? So while we are working with you, we will also bring in experiences that we have learned from other business, and if that is relevant for you, you can use them, and you can also grow as a business. So business process optimization overall is something also we do. In whatever we do, change is something that people generally do not find comfortable with. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. But ERP is a change. It's a big change, right, over the overall organization hierarchy, length and breadth, north and south, everything. So we have, worked in a way, we have designed methodologies where we bring that change management in the most effective way, right? So, what it talks is what it delivers. As a part of that methodology that I'm talking about, which is a very well-defined methodology, there is this user training and support that holds, very high rank as far as, prioritizing them is concerned. We understand, people who will be coming from different backgrounds are going to be the users of the solution, and we should tend to their needs in the sense that they're the ones who are going to use the ERP, and they should be comfortable using the ERP, understand the overall features and the way the ERP works. So as much as your user training and support is required, we are going to give it to the users. And then, to sum it all up, whatever we do, right, in every step of the way throughout our, methodology, we are delivering value to you, right? So we are taking in something, adding some value to it and giving it back to you. So continuous value delivery is something that we are really, imbibed in our culture, and that is exactly what we are giving back to you. Yes, Michael? I think that brings me to my last slide. Just to show you, we are there, present, accessible to you across our offices, across social media. There's contacts and everything that is there. We have a website, which is samadhanindia.com. And, we'll feel good if you reach out to us. We are trying to reach out to you, but we'll feel good if you reach out to us and, you ask. And, we'll be very, very glad to give a solution to a question that you might have. Peter, we'll just come back to you in the question answer session just after this. So please keep your hand raised. We will definitely come back to you just in 30 seconds or so. So what I'm saying is samadhanindia.com is the website that you can go, and you will have all this information and more. So, you reach out to us, you reach out to eKnowtion, you're talking to the same person, basically, right? And we'll be able to give you not just Power BI, but we'll be able to give you so much more when it comes to Samadhan as a partner. So, you can even talk to Dayan, Michael, Alice, and, they redirect you to us, or we can do the same for them, right? So that is why we have come together to, make things accessible to more and more people, to make people aware that yes, we are there for your requirement, which can be as big as the whole ERP system is considered, or a part of the reporting system, which is very, very critical and essential in these times, especially what you do with the data that you get from the ERP, which is in the form of Power BI and more. So thank you so much for listening to us patiently, and Michael, thank you so much for navigating this for me. Over to you.
All right. Welcome. Okay, so just moving over to the Q&A now. And look, we'll come back to you in a second. I just want to add again, just one last thing. So we speak to a lot of customers, right? And what we typically see is some huge time and cost savings that they have from implementing this. One customer we spoke to in particular, they were spending 2 people full time for a week, just doing their end of month reports. And actually with Business Central Insights, they were getting a real time picture of their business, and all of that work went away. So even from things like that, it can have a massive impact into your business. So we're going to open it up for questions now. And I think, Peter, you definitely had your hand up first. So if you whoever's hosting can make it possible for Peter to ask the question, that'd be great. Thank you. Guys,
Salah,
can we
please allow Peter to speak. Peter
or
Yates.
pop the question in the chat, worst case here.
Or Peter, we will appreciate if you can just pop up your question in the chat box if it's not too much of a trouble for you.
Can we help Peter speak? I can't seem to be able to enable him. So, of course, okay, we got someone else put there. Okay, from Nero. So, hang on, let's go to the chat. Okay, from Nero's, do I need to have MS Power BI license, or the installation will include that? So yes, you will need to have a Power BI license. It is very cheap on a per user basis. I think Microsoft put their prices up recently, but yes, you do need to have a Power BI license. There are two types. Depending on the amount of data that you have and how often you want to refresh, you may be absolutely fine with the standard version of that. Hope that answers your question, Nero's. Okay, when we've got
Peter, you can unmute the microphone. I think then it would work.
Okay, well, why we're waiting for Peter?
We can unmute him, I think.
Yeah. I can't do it. But...
I am doing it. So.
Okay, yeah, should be able to speak now, but
Peter, you need to unmute yourself. We have enabled you to speak. Please unmute and speak. In the meantime, can we have Ashutosh? Ashutosh, we can see your hand raised. I think you can unmute and speak. Yeah, we'll come back to the questions that are coming up in the chat box for sure. Ashutosh, are you able to unmute yourself and speak? In the meantime, can we take up questions which are coming up in the chat box, Michael?
We've got okay. So we've got, do we need two licenses for the viewer and creator? So in Business Central Insights, there is only one license type. Once you have a license, really it's about the number of users that you want to have. At the moment, there are two types of license type: standard, which is up to 10 users, and premium, which is 10 plus. That is about to change, but yeah, it's not going to change by much. So yeah, ultimately, we're not charging really on a per user basis. It's just about a total block number of users, and there is only one license type. I'm not sure though if your question maybe relates to Power BI or something else, but no, for Business Central Insights, there is only one user type.
I'm going to read out a question, Michael, for the panel here. Neeraj Makwana asks, do I need to have Power BI license or the installation that will include that? Did you answer that question just now?
Yes, no, we did answer that. But yeah, just and again,
the other question, can this be hosted on premise? Did you answer that question?
No, I haven't answered it, but yes, we can absolutely work on premise. For that one, it's the premium license type that you need. It takes a little bit longer to set up with on premise. Maybe it takes whereas the normal one might take about 15 to 20 minutes, half an hour to set up. The on-premise can take a bit longer. Really, most of the setup work though is because you need to reach out to your partner. There's a few steps that they have to take in order to enable Business Central Insights to work on your on-premise version. They shouldn't charge you for that. It is a very easy job. They might charge a small fee, tiny, depending upon their setup, but it is a very, very, very quick job and doesn't require a lot of work on their side to do. So should be very straightforward. And typically we see a bit of back and forth, but usually a couple of days of mostly just back and forth. It'll be set up very quickly.
Okay, so thank you, Michael, for that. And I would also like to thank Sukrit and Dayan. They, I think, already had answered this. So thank you so much, Sukrit and Dayan, for your response. Now we have questions from Peter. He has typed it in the Q&A. He is asking Dayan. Dayan understands what they're doing at BML. What is the approach for the PowerPoint integration? Yeah, that is what the question is, Dayan, if you can see that.
Yes. So with PowerPoint, you can basically embed Power BI within PowerPoint. So when you have a presentation on the slides, right, you can then have interactive reports and then, you know, showcase different scenarios directly in the PowerPoint. So PowerPoint doesn't have to be fixed as a static image, but can be actually the interactive report, which makes a presentations much nicer. So probably that's what Peter was asking.
And there's, you know, an extension of a question from Peter himself. If you're talking about manufacturing, what about external data sources like IoTs? That is to you, Dan.
Yeah, so our semantic models are linked to basically connect to only to Business Central. We have a standard connector. Now, everything external, I mean, we do support legacy data, but which is something that could be imported into Business Central, but anything external would be a custom development pretty much. We'll have to either extend our apps to bring in another data source, but that will be a custom development. Now, we don't do that for end customers, so we prefer our partners do those development for the customer, or we actually train the customers how to do that. And then they are really independent on how, and then they can build things in-house, right, for the custom reports.
Can I add something to it? And Dan, please correct me if I'm wrong over here. You know, it could be an IoT, it could be a machine or anything like that. As for, till the time we're able to bring in data into the ERP, Business Central, I think Power BI should be able to generate reports out of it. Am I correct? So the main question is, can we bring the data into Business Central? Yes, we can. Business Central is quite capable of integrating, you know, machines and things like that, which are external devices. You integrate with them and you bring the data into the ERP, that is Business Central. Once the data is there in ERP, Power BI should be able to work for those data, right?
Yeah, that the two scenarios pretty much. It can go first to Business Central and then to Power BI, or it can bypass Business Central itself and have maybe even real-time data in dashboards directly, right? So there's a lot of capabilities in Power BI. I think all that it's definitely possible. But like I mentioned, those are not out-of-the-box solutions, right? It's usually something that companies would build themselves based on their specific requirements, because IoT systems will be really probably different case by case, right?
Okay, there's a question from Dilshan Madhushankar. He has two questions. Do we need two licenses for the viewer and the creator? That is question number one.
Yeah, we've already done these ones in here as well. So okay. The one which I'm not sure if we've done is Power BI Desktop compatible with Mac OS?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Any suggestions on?
I would just mention here that, of course, all our users, they would access reports online, right? So then no matter if they have iOS or any operating system, they can access reports online. Now, desktop is development environment for creating new reports, right? So it's only when they want to basically develop reports with using Power BI Desktop, then they need to have a Windows machine. But other than that, they can use Mac for any reporting. Lots of our customers will have Mac laptops. Yeah,
I do, and it's no problem whatsoever.
All right. So yeah, Michael, over to you. I didn't think there's any more question. So thank you so much, all the attendees. If we have some more questions, we'll be happy to answer them. But there's a time limitation that we have, and we should respect that. So, as much as we are going to close this session in a couple of minutes, we'll be very, very happy and excited, to receive your responses via the email. Your people there in eKnowtion, and you know us in Samadhan. So you can reach out to either of us via email or whatever mode of communication you choose. We'll be happy to answer your questions if it were not answered in this session, and maybe questions that you need more discussion with us, one-to-one or a detailed discussion. We would love to do that. Michael, over to you. You can take over this session and just
it's all good. Forward. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, just to say, please reply to the invite or send any emails over to the email addresses we have provided. We will be circulating a copy of this. Okay, so we've got one inquiry in there, so great. But just to say, we will be sending a copy of this this webinar out, so you can share this internally with your colleagues. But also, please don't hesitate if you want to try and organise a specific demo for a team in your organisation. You know, perhaps a sales or manufacturing operations folks. We're very happy to set up a tailored demo for them as well. But thank you once again. I wish we could see you all. It would make this experience even better than it already is. But I hope you have a very good day and hope to speak to you all soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.